Welcome to Higher Level Gaming. I'm Rob, and today we are talking the upcoming Dragon Ball Z game, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which looks like, if I'm being totally honest, an all-around awesome Dragon Ball RPG, the likes of which I haven't personally seen since The Legacy of Goku 2 way back on the Game Boy Advance. I haven't played one of the fighting games in years, and I never really hear much about them anymore, despite being pretty sure they keep coming out. Well, this game is going to be a refreshing new approach, and a kind of out-of-character announcement from the series. Apparently this game is going to be a bit more fan-servicey, because they've announced a mysterious new female character who, get this, is named BONYU, and was a member of the genderswap before she quit because her giant boobies made the poses awkward. Okay, I'm paraphrasing here. Here's the actual statement, but I think this was, this is the guy who broke the story on Twitter, Goresh, and he said there's going to be a new character named BONYU, same planet as Jeice, so what is she going to look like? Because we don't actually know, I'll show you in a second, who seems to be from the same planet as Jeice. Might be a past member of the Ginyu Force. She has a large bust. Seems she was removed from the force due to her pose not being up to par. So either her big boobies were making it weird for everybody else, or they were she was uncomfortable. One way or another, she left because of her boobies being too big. Now, the guy they mentioned, Jeice there, he looks like this. So she's gonna be a big booby red chick, kind of like the so I guess she's kind of gonna look like a Gerudo chick in a way, like a little bit. That's what I'm guessing anyway. But with big boobies, as you heard in the announcement. Right off the bat, BONYU, by the way, means breast milk in Japanese. Hello. So we lost Tifa, yes, but base Bandai giving us that good BONYU, guys. Thanks, Namco. Honestly, this is kind of a ridiculous story, but we've covered other stories kind of like this in the past, like top 10 Pornhub searches for 2018, and I just think these are always funny. I think it's really funny that some companies like PlayStation are really trying to get away from any kind of sexualization, while there are still a lot of people, namely mostly Japanese companies, who are making content that is more sexually explicit and, you know, has things like big boobies in it, as opposed to light flares to cover up any little hint of boobies. I'm on the side of you should be able to put whatever you want in your game. You should be able to put whatever you want in your game as long as it's rated accordingly, and I'm not expecting this to be a huge deal in the game, but I'm expecting it to be something, you know, fan service. It's going to be some fan service. So Dragon Ball Kakarot has some pretty cool gameplay. I saw what it looks like. It looks pretty good. The fighting also looks really good. It looks fairly similar to the fighting games, but also I think this has even more of like a drawn to life, kind of like more of an animated style, more of like a video gamey art style. I'm expecting this to be more of a classic RPG than a action fighting game. So the graphics look really good and the gameplay looks good. At the very beginning of the trailer we saw for E3, there was a little message that I really liked that said, "This game brings the Dragon Ball universe to life. I'm sure fans will truly be able to take a deep dive into the world. Hope you enjoy the game." From author Akira Toriyama. So I'm wondering if there's going to be any of that pervy Bulma stuff, since they're getting back to their roots with the perviness. Like, that was always something that stood out to me from the original Dragon Ball series when I went back and watched it when I was a teenager, was there's a lot of pervy stuff going on here. So besides the magnificent BONYU, we have a few other announcements about the game, and people on Twitter are pretty excited about this game, actually. So actually very similar to the Legacy of Goku 2, this one's going to focus on Gohan and Trunks, or not focus on, but it's going to have Gohan and Trunks playable in the Cell Saga, which is what that game was about. Android 17, Android 16 and Gohan getting an original story portion. Piccolo and Goku's driving test is a mini game That's hilarious. That was a really beloved episode where they try to get their driver's licenses, I guess. Here is a fan rendition of what based BONYU might look like. Don't know if this is too explicit for the channel. I don't think this is too explicit for the channel. This is what someone thinks she may look like. Obviously, I think from the bottom down is a little unreasonable, but from the top half of her body looks like it could be pretty accurate. So what do you guys think about BONYU? Do you think she's a worthwhile addition? Do you think it's offensive that they're adding her into the game? Are you the kind of person who now you're gonna buy the game because of this news? Whatever you guys think, I would love to hear about it in the comments down below. And subscribe to Higher Level Gaming for all kinds of gaming news, gameplays, and discussions. Above all else, don't forget to have a nice day and go play some video games. In some last minute news, actually, guys, we now have gotten a look at BONYU, and it is not what I was expecting. It does not look like it's going to be very fan servicey. Not really, because BONYU is pretty thick, and as you can see here, she does not look like the traditional like anime girl, not at all. This story didn't turn out quite how I thought it would, but you know, this is actually, I think, a lot more reasonable than just adding a character who like their boobies are getting in the way of everything. It seems like she might actually be like a real character. But then we've actually got another screen here that shows what she probably looks like in the game. This was taken from one of the trailers, I believe. Here you can see she doesn't look quite as thick, she doesn't look quite as big. She looks actually pretty thin, and maybe this was like an early mock-up or something. Maybe this isn't a finalized version, but this is what she may look like in the game, so nothing is really set entirely in stone yet for this.